Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome back to DJ's Workshop. Today we're going to be doing an upgrade to the Eurovan. We have a couple of Bluetti power banks that we use when we're out camping. I have a smaller one and I have a bigger one. So the smaller one I want to set up inside the van that we can keep in there kind of permanently, and then the bigger one we can take out and use on the campsite. But what I want to do is we can charge it through like AC power if we're hooked up at a campground. But if we're at a place where we don't have AC, I don't want to charge my battery off my battery. So I do have solar panels that we use, but I don't want to have wires just running all over the camper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a box on the outside of the camper right here. I'm going to take this cover off and I'm going to replace that with one of these here, which is kind of like, it's actually a cover for a coax cable. I popped the middle piece out and we're going to put this cable. This connects to the Bluetti, this end. And then this end we're going to have basically come out of here. So when I'm at a campground, I can just open this up, plug my solar panels right into here, and then this piece will be hardwired right into the inside, going right to the power bank. So that's the plan. We're going to change around the inside a little bit where the cabinet is and the fridge was. I did have it set up with some shelving, but we're going to change it because I got a new little refrigerator we're going to keep underneath and then keep the power bank on top. So that's the plan. So stay tuned. I'll show you how it's done. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this cover off of here. It's just 3 screws holding this cover on. Okay, and we're just going to use this mounting plate right here. So we're going to pop that off. Alright, so I took the plate off and it's been on there for a little bit. It's got a little bit of crusty stuff starting on here. I don't know, from maybe the elements on the road. So I'm going to go ahead and sandblast this thing with my new cabinet, and then I'm going to go ahead and powder coat it and we'll put it back on there with a cover. Alright, so now that we have the plate sandblasted, it's all nice and clean, we're going to put so this is going to go on here, but we're going to put the gasket on here and mark the holes in the center so we can see where that is. Now we'll get this drilled out so that we can run the cable up through the center of that. Okay, so before I attach all that to the outside, I'm going to work on the inside here. You can see I kind of gutted out the cabinet here. I'm putting some of this insulation stuff on here. This is sound deadening material. It's got a sticky back to it. So basically just cleaning the wall up and then cutting it to fit and then putting it on there. You roll it on with one of these big heavy rollers just to make sure it's nice and flush against the metal. So I'm going to get that all situated in there and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so have the piece mounted on the plate. The plate is mounted back on the van. You can see when you open it up, there's your connector now for the solar panels. So you have your panels laid out, you just bring the cable over, you plug it right in there. When you're done, you just unplug it, close that up, you're good to go. Alright, so let me show you what's going on the inside. Okay, at this point you can see I have all the insulation up on the back there, so that's all set. Next thing I got to do is I got to make a floor for over here on some sliders, so when we have the refrigerator in there, it'll slide out. And then I'm going to put a shelf up here that we can put the Bluetti on. I have the Bluetti right here, and we'll get that mounted up on there. I got to cut a hole in the insulation to run the wire through so we can get that wired in also. Alright, so next step is I'm going to be working on the floor here. Okay, so now we have the cable coming inside the van. This is going to plug right into the Bluetti, which is going to sit on a shelf right about here. So we can plug that in, and then this is all hardwired in. Now if you look down here, we're going to have the refrigerator sitting on here. I put some brackets in that allows this to slide out now. So if you want to get the fridge out, you can slide it out, slide it back in. We're going to have the doors that are going in the front over here after too. Alright, so we have the connector for the solar, we have the wire in here. Next thing I got to do is make this shelf for up top here. Okay, so at this point we have the shelves back in. I made this shelf for over here for the Bluetti. We have the fridge, which is now on a pull-out slide. Okay, so now you can get into the fridge no problem. Slide that back in. We got to put the two doors back on there. We got to put the door back on there. Alright guys, so this is the end result of what we did today. So we have the solar panel hookup on the outside with the cable coming in. You can see I have my Bluetti set up over here, and we have the cable coming in from the outside, plugging directly in there, so I don't have to have wires running all over the outside or inside of the van. We do have a safe that we installed over here to keep your wallet and personals in, you know, if you're out camping or whatever and you just want to secure things. But we do have the new fridge here, which is going to be a really nice addition. And we put this on the slider so that we can just tuck it away when we don't need it. It goes right in there, so you can see everything's all nice and neat now. And then we have the two doors on the front. Now you may be asking where these doors came from. They're actually closet doors, like the ones in the back over there. And I bought an extra set, and I just cut them down to fit so that everything would match perfectly, and it does. So that's about it. So we got the solar hookup, and I figured while we're in there running the wires and whatnot, I might as well straighten this thing out and better utilize this space. So I think it's going to work out really well, and that's what we did. Alright guys, hope that gives you some ideas. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, a share, a like, subscribe if you haven't, tell your friends, and we'll catch you on the next one.